The chromatic scale is the mother of all note patterns, and by that I mean that everything, including scales, modes, chords, and progressions, are derived from it. But on its own, it doesn't sound very good, because it's just the 12 notes of music in order. This is an ascending chromatic scale, rising in pitch, and this is the same pattern moving in the other direction. You wouldn't really call that very musical, so no one really uses the chromatic scale as a scale. Instead, it's just the entire set of notes in music that we use to pick out smaller subsets of notes that sound especially good together. So it's more like a painter's palette that musicians use to select groups that fit the picture they're creating. And actually the term chroma in chromatic refers to color, so it really is like a painter's palette in this way. And we can literally picture it using color, only there's a twist. Because it doesn't look like this, as a lot of people imagine, although it seems like that would be natural as the chromatic spectrum of color aligned with the chromatic scale of notes. But the reason this doesn't work is because the visible color relationships here don't match the audible relationships between notes. For example, if these colors, red and red-orange, are closely related, then their underlying pitches should sound as consonant as they look, but the sounds themselves are dissonant. And while these colors clash, the notes are consonant when you play them. They sound good together. So then here's the twist. The color wheel, which shows all the colors in sequence, actually aligns with the circle of fifths, which is a pattern that also shows all keys and notes in harmonic sequence. But then it's just a simple rearrangement of this pattern into the chromatic scale. And though it forms a scrambled spectrum, it's actually a consistent, organized pattern that now aligns perfectly with the chromatic scale and highlights the consonant and dissonant notes. So again, looking at the chromatic scale, these two notes sound as dissonant as they look, while these two notes are as consonant as they look. And these relationships are consistent throughout the chromatic scale. This is really what the chromatic scale looks like, and you can use it to pick out subsets of notes to play scales, modes, chords, and progressions. So again, it is like a painter's palette, but instead of selecting arbitrary color combinations, there's a definite logic and geometry to how all of the notes relate, and there are more relationships than I even showed you here, so I'll cover that in some other videos.